A few weeks ago, everybody was celebrating. Altcoins were exploding. Meme coins were flying. People were posting profit screenshots every 5 minutes. And on Stan Chain, we said something very simple. When speculation starts outperforming reality, the market becomes unstable. Not bearish, not bullish, unstable. And that's exactly what happened. Today, the same people who were screaming alt season are suddenly talking about market crashes. The same traders who felt like geniuses 2 weeks ago are now looking for someone to blame, because that's how most people operate. They don't follow data, they follow emotions. Greed on the way up, fear on the way down. But here's the problem. While everybody is staring at Bitcoin, they're missing the most important story in crypto right now. And it has nothing to do with charts. It has everything to do with identity. Artificial intelligence, and a project almost everybody loves to hate. WorldCoin. You are with Stan Chain, and today the t-shirts are red like the markets. Let's talk about it. First, let's address the obvious. Bitcoin has lost momentum. Fear is back, sentiment has collapsed, and suddenly everybody became a macro expert overnight. But this isn't surprising, because markets move in cycles. A few weeks ago, we warned about something important. Bitcoin wasn't leading. Speculation was leading. Altcoins were stealing attention. Risk appetite was exploding. That's usually not a sign of strength. That's usually a sign of excess. Most traders think markets crash because of bad news. That's not true. Markets usually become vulnerable long before the bad news arrives. The weakness starts underneath, in behavior. And that's exactly what we were seeing. The market was rewarding gambling. And eventually, gambling creates victims, not winners. Victims. So yes, Bitcoin is struggling. But Bitcoin isn't the most interesting thing happening right now. The real battle is somewhere else. If you want signals like this for free, follow me on X and stay in tune with the latest trends and news in the crypto world. I post some of my intentions and trades every day, so if you feel capable of taking a beating from the market, get in. Everybody is looking at the wrong battle. They're staring at Bitcoin. They're staring at ETF flows, they're staring at every red candle, but the real war isn't happening on the charts, it's happening in attention. Because attention is the most valuable asset in crypto. Not technology, not fundamentals, attention. And right now there is a fight happening for the next major narrative. Think about it. What are people actually talking about? Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum. They're talking about identity, privacy, artificial intelligence, verification, and one project keeps appearing in that conversation. WorldCoin. I'm not telling you to buy it. That's not the point. The point is understanding why people are paying attention to it. The project asks a very uncomfortable question. How do you prove you're human in a world full of AI? And whether you love WorldCoin or hate it, that's a real problem. That's why the project keeps coming back into the conversation, because controversial narratives attract attention, and attention attracts capital. That's how crypto works. The market doesn't care what you think is fair. The market rewards whatever captures people's imagination. And right now, identity, AI, privacy, and verification are becoming bigger conversations every month. The war nobody is talking about isn't Bitcoin versus Ethereum, it's narrative versus narrative. And the projects sitting inside those narratives are where traders are looking for opportunity. Now let's talk about something fascinating. Arthur Hayes didn't expose a coin, he exposed the market. Because every time he talks about a narrative, people react. Not because he controls the market, because the market is desperate for direction. Look what happened. ZEC suddenly became exciting again. WLD started attracting attention. Hype became a major topic. and thousands of traders immediately started chasing. Why? Because people don't want to do research. They want shortcuts. They want somebody smarter, richer, or more successful to point at a chart and tell them where the next opportunity is. That's not investing. That's narrative chasing. And that's exactly what we've been warning about. The market isn't rewarding analysis right now. It's rewarding attention. One tweet, one interview, one narrative, and suddenly, capital rotates. The scary part? Most traders don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're investing. In reality, they're following crowds. And when everybody follows the same crowd, things become dangerous, because narratives can move faster than fundamentals. And when narratives die, prices usually follow. This is the question everybody wants answered. So let's be honest. We're not at peak euphoria, not even close. At peak euphoria, your taxi driver is giving crypto advice. At peak euphoria, your cousin launches a meme coin. At peak euphoria, nobody thinks risk exists. We're not there, but we're also not in pure fear. Because look at the behavior. People are still chasing stories. People are still rotating into speculative assets. People are still hunting the next big narrative. So where are we? We're in the confusion phase, the phase where nobody knows what comes next. The phase where some traders are screaming bull market, others are screaming bear market, and both groups are probably wrong, because markets don't move in straight lines. They move through cycles of emotion. Right now, we're somewhere between disbelief and speculation. Enough fear to create caution, enough greed to create opportunities, which is why the market feels so unstable, because nobody has conviction. And when conviction disappears, narratives take control. Now let's answer the most important question. What happens next? Here's our view. The most likely scenario is not a massive crash, and it's not a straight line to new all-time highs either. The most likely scenario is continued rotation, capital moving from narrative to narrative, attention jumping from story to story. One week it's AI, the next week it's privacy, then gaming, then DeFi, then something nobody is talking about today. That's how this market behaves when it lacks a clear leader. And that's exactly why traders are getting chopped up. They're trying to predict direction when they should be watching attention. If Bitcoin stabilizes, speculative narratives probably continue attracting capital. Not all of them, only the strongest stories. If Bitcoin loses momentum again, those same narratives will be tested very quickly, because when fear returns, attention disappears, and without attention, many of these moves collapse. So our conclusion is simple. Stop asking which coin will make you rich. Start asking where attention is moving, because right now, attention is driving this market more than fundamentals. And until that changes, the biggest winners won't necessarily be the best projects. They'll be the projects attached to the strongest stories. That's the reality of the market we're trading today. And if you understand that before everyone else does, you're already ahead of most participants.